Hello everyone, my name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. Oh, it is Alice Cooper time, and this time we are talking about one of those albums I consider a true gem. One of those albums from Alice that really is cherry from one end to the album, to the other. And that is Along Came a Spider. Alright, so let me set the mood for you just a little bit here. First off, Alice has a character by the name of Stephen, who has appeared throughout multiple albums with multiple stories over the years. Stephen was first introduced in Welcome to My Nightmare, and then has a small cameo if you had the vinyl version of Goes to Hell. The cameo being in the notes. Then the next time that Stephen officially got a big major story that was actually dedicated to Stephen, which I've already covered as well, is Alice Cooper's The Last Temptation. Comic book story for Stephen and everything. Some could argue that From the Inside could be seen as a Stephen story as well, as Stephen was put into the asylum. And the reason why I now put that in there as a potential is because it is a concept that is directly pulled into this storyline as well. See, Stephen is back in this storyline. But here's the thing, after all these years, Stephen has lost his frickin' mind. Stephen has become a cold-blooded psycho killer, and Alice is the little spider whispering in his ear the whole time. Ooh. Okay, so this is the rough story that surrounds this. Now, there's a lot more to it than that, and we're going to get into that as I get into the songs. Because this story is not even told completely in a linear order either. It's done more in a movie thematic kind of way, where, you know, when you get into prologue right here at the beginning, prologue / I Know Where You Live, you get a news broadcaster laying out the story of what actually is going on and how it was a graphic horror scene, blah, 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 blah. And then it goes into I Know Where You Live, which is clearly Alice. Well, actually, in this case, it would be Stephen stalking people. Saying he knows where they are and whatnot. Then we go into Vengeance Is Mine. Now, Vengeance Is Mine would actually be... Okay. Within the storylines, if I were to put... I gotta do a special on this. This is gonna be a special, the Stephen special. But a quick summary, okay? If you were to take all the stuff that has been released theoretically as Stephen, okay? Or with the Stephen tagline attached to it. Specifically, what would end up happening is The Last Temptation would actually be the early introduction of Stephen. This would be when Alice first meets Stephen and starts torturing him, even though it came later down the line. Because Stephen is actually a teenager in the comic book. It's clearly portrayed, and that is accurate too. Okay, so Nightmare would be Stephen as an adult. Could be a young adult, but Stephen as an adult. And not to ruin it for anybody, but Nightmare is really about, dealing with dreams and whatnot after Stephen killed his wife. Okay, so the next time we officially hear Stephen within the music itself, truly like a true blue Stephen character, is the song Wind Up Toy off of Hey Stupid, where Stephen is clearly locked up in an asylum and views it as, gone nutty. Vengeance Is Mine on this album picks up with Steven getting out of the asylum after being locked up in there for all those years. And then everything begins. Wake the Dead, it's a fun song. It doesn't do much to really carry on the storyline much. It's just kind of, celebrating, having fun. That's the best way I know how to put it. Catch Me If You Can. Serial killer out on the run, basically taunting them. Catch me if you can. Very simple concept. In touch, in brackets, your feminine side. Or in touch with, in brackets, and then your feminine side. Good song. Typical Alice gender bending kind of thing in a very sick and twisted serial killer kind of way. Wrapped in Silk. This is where the spider element really starts kind of coming out and playing in, where you start realizing what's actually going on in this story. And it, just talking about how these people wrapped up in silk after Alice has dealt with them are so beautiful. A great song, actually. I absolutely love Wrapped in Silk. I'll come around to them actually as songs in a moment. Killed by Love. This would be the ballad on the album, and this is one of the first ballads in years that I've actually really enjoyed. And the reason I enjoy it is there's part of me that just feels like there's such a great kind of Muppet-esque vibe to this one. Like when they're doing it in the chorus, Killed by Love, I could just picture a bunch of... If you've ever watched Alice Cooper's The Nightmare, The Nightmare itself, the actual The Nightmare, if you've seen the special, the TV special, you're one of the rare people who've seen the TV special, The Nightmare, or if you watched Alice Cooper's Welcome to My Nightmare concert, you see the girls in the Black Widow costumes when they're dancing. That's kind of what I'm picturing is, a bunch of corpses killed by love. Because that's what it is, it's how Alice's love is killed, or Steven's love has killed all these people at Alice's suggestion. I'm Hungry. Oh, that's simple, man. It's just about wanting to kill, though. That thirst, that need, that deep ingrained, I must kill. The One That Got Away. That's how everything unravels. Every villain must be caught. That is the one thing. Alice, that's the one thing that is kind of cool with Alice is he plays the villain, but at the end, the good guy is still supposed to win, or at least the bad guy is supposed to lose. And The One That Got Away is all about that one that got away, which led to the ultimate capture, demise, and ending of Steven's homicidal rampage. And then you got Salvation, which is, that whole seeing the light afterwards part. I like Salvation. It actually really works in here. I think part of it feels maybe it was like a little kind of forced in there. A little bit. Not a lot, just a little. But it gets complicated with the Steven story. And I'll explain shortly. And then the album finishes with I Am the Spider / epilogue. And that's where the whole thing is actually laid out. And it's spoken. It's more told as a story to finish it all out. To put that, but basically, explaining that Alice was killing people to make the perfect arachnid body out of human corpses. Spiders, silk, 8 arms, 8 legs. So clever. It's I am the spider. Great song. Okay, so music-wise, this album is gangbuster as far as I'm concerned, beginning to end, man. There really is not a bad song on here. The biggest slip-up is Killed by Love, and that's only because it is cheese. Salvation is the next one after that. I'm not as huge on. I feel it's a little forced in there. But when you get I Know Where You Live, a great rock song, man. Like these are great hard rock songs. Like this is the type of Alice that, it is a shame. It really is a shame that this album did not explode the way it really should have. This album really is top quality, and when I'm saying top quality, like, it deserved the recognition and explosion that the original Alice Cooper Group albums were getting. It deserves the recognition and explosion that Trash and Hey Stupid got. Realistically, this album is by far better than Trash. This is the album that should have come out probably between Raise Your Fist and Yell and Hey Stupid. Or possibly right after Hey Stupid. It's just that time period, that type of rock. Like, it was just great, real, passionate rock. To the point where Slash is on Vengeance Is Mine as well. Every song on here, though, like I said, they're really good songs, man. I can't complain about any of them, really. It flows beautifully from one end to the other, and that's what you want. It works perfectly as a concept album. Alice is the one person who has mastered concept albums when it comes to doing this, where being able to tell the story, but at the same time, each song can still be completely 100% separate on its own, still totally functions. That's what this album is. I really think that this is, and my opinion has not changed from when I first bought it to now. This album literally came out within weeks of Death Magnetic from Metallica. I listen to this one more still. I still like Death Magnetic. I listen to it regularly. I did the review. You would have watched it already. Would have been 2 reviews ago. But this album, man, oh my god, this album is just brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant. Top 5 Alice Cooper albums for me. Honestly, I will say that. But when I do my Alice Cooper top 5, I usually try and pick one from different eras to balance it out. Even without doing that, this is a top 10 Alice Cooper album, absolutely for sure. Top 5 still, arguably. I would argue that it could definitely fit in that top 5, depending on how strict you're being with your criteria and stuff like that. Now, there is one weird caveat that goes with this album in regard to the Steven storyline. Welcome to My Nightmare came out as the next album after this. So, and this is where I went back with Salvation. I'd come back around to it. I almost want to say that this album leads up into Nightmare 2. Nightmare 2 is actually supposed to be a direct continuation off of this. And Salvation and I Am the Spider / Epilogue is not where the story really ends for Steven. It's where the second half starts to kick off. Steven's thinking he has found salvation, but he really hasn't. See, Steven, after being captured with after the one that got away, which leads to Steven being captured, which he might see as his salvation, his freedom from Alice and the spider telling him that he's free, he's gotten away. He hasn't. Not at all. He's gone even madder, and then eventually he goes to sleep. Or does he? I don't think he does. Because, see, Steven never made it to trial. Steven never made it to the police station. But that's a story for Welcome to My Nightmare. Alright, folks. Thanks for watching. Here's where I do the thing. Patreon's down below. When you're on your way down to the comments, click on that link. It's in the description. Like button, subscribe button, bell for notification, join button, follow button if you're on Rumble. Peace, love, take care.